Welcome to Before You Cut Bangs. I'm Laura Quick.
And I'm Claire Fearman.
I am a professional storyteller and I'm writing my first book.
And I'm a therapist, but not your therapist. Full disclaimer, take what you like, leave the rest. Okay, so today's episode is truly about the heaviness we're exposed to. Not just exposed to, but the reality of what's happening in the world or our country. And we're not going to dissect it. That's what NPR is for. But I received a text message yesterday, and it was someone really upset about something on the news. Mm-hmm. And as a therapist, it's only happened one other time, and it was during COVID, when you're simultaneously going through something with a client. I don't know all the tools because I'm in it too, and seeing things that I can't believe I'm seeing.
Right. We're living in unprecedented times, for
always.
sure.
And the theme is helplessness. What am I supposed to do with all this? And I'm so overwhelmed. Saw a post yesterday about motherhood, and this was in particular about Ice and the little 5-year-old, and that wrecked me. I texted Laura just because I had to say it.
Yeah.
So I would say today's episode isn't about the content of that necessarily, but I'm curious if y'all have had that experience of something just hitting you so hard, the feeling of helplessness, and then what do y'all do with it? So it should be kind of a funny, fun episode.
Oh, yeah. There's
a good time.
Lighthearted,
Here for
obviously.
a good time.
I feel so we just did a recap of our 2025. For my nonprofit, our goal is to eradicate period poverty. We've just changed that from a more North Alabama. Now we're going to go national. Our goal is to be in 10 cities or 10 counties in the state of Alabama by the end of 2027. We gave away 32,000 organic feminine hygiene products by being in 17 schools. We want to eradicate period poverty for girls under the age of 19. The weight of what that actually means, though, when you break it down from a socioeconomic perspective, is that 1 in 5 children will go to bed hungry in the state of Alabama today. And mostly that's a true stat for around the U.S. It's about 1 in 4, 1 in 5, 1 in 3 in some really impoverished areas. So when I think about period products, I know that there is a deficit there because they're in poverty in general, right? The weight of knowing that littles in our communities are going to bed without food is so heavy to me. I don't know why it's a food thing for me, but that really is the thing that when I read about it and I research about it and I think about it, I know I cannot rescue children out of poverty. I know that is a way that I give. I give around childhood poverty mindset. I know if kids have food when they need it, that's one of those core fundamental things that will hopefully change their mind, that they'll be able to make it out. The same thing with products and things like that. So obviously super lighthearted episode, but everybody has maybe a thing that pulls at their heart more than something else. And I think that's an invitation to do something about it. But I was just telling Will off microphone, which I know he hated, I am the person that tends to steer away from consuming any content that I'm I know I can't do anything about that. And I am not a head in the sand person, but I think I feel very called to do the things I'm doing, and I'm going to do them with diligence and try and make impact. But I am such a bleeding heart that I will I don't even know. I'm anyway.
That's a little bit how I am about the Humane Society. This morning I was talking to the head of the Humane Society, and they bring puppies to the show for me to show to people on the video, whatever. And she's sitting there getting text about these dogs that are being abused, and she's texting the sheriff, and all this is happening while we're sitting there having a conversation. And she's this dog, 28 days been tied up to this thing. 28 days been tied up. I'm I don't know. That's what I really can't do. if there's a dog or something that's being abused,
You're trying to go vigilante, and you're going to go
no, I mean,
rescue
I'll
it.
just head in the sand. I can't. It's
Too much.
yeah. So that's where I am. Yeah, the news thing, with that here.
Well, you live in this media world,
I
and
live
you
in it.
are a truth speaker
Yeah.
on the radio.
And so the big frustrating thing for me is not truth. These
Right.
lies that and people, mostly people in my industry that say things they don't believe and they know because they're getting paid to do so. Holy moly. I don't know how that's possible. There's not enough money. I'm not kidding. You could give me the biggest house, all the money, the airplanes, anything I want, but I just had to lie to my listeners every day, and I couldn't do it. There's no chance. And I know several people. First, I know them personally that's what they do.
As your agent, I will tell you that will create some limitations on how much money I can get you.
Well, we're gonna have to.
Hey, but that's one of the things that I love about you, and I think is one of the things that make us good friends. Is I do feel like all three of us are convicted people, meaning we operate out of a no moral high ground here for sure, but like a set of morals that govern kind of our yeses and our nos.
Yeah, and we talked about this just a little bit off the air too, which I wanted to save for here. But one thing right now, I think we are in historic times. I think, like you said, unprecedented times, very consequential times. And so anytime someone says to me oh, I just ignore all of it, I'm like, oh, but you can't.
Yeah.
I think you need to know what's happening.
I like to have friends that know what's happening and be like, hey, tell me the things that I need to know. Shut up.
So that's what I do, with my news stories.
You're that friend.
It's the
Tell
morning
me.
quickie. So basically, a lot of my friends work at NPR, and their numbers are down right now. We have meetings about this. We talk about it because people are overwhelmed with the news. They don't want to hear it because it is sad and depressing and shocking every day, shocking. So what I do is I don't read the story for 5 minutes. I read 2 sentences to tell you here's basically what's happening. And bam, bam, I hit that, and then I always end it with an Onion article to bring levity to the whole
I
thing.
have 2 newsletters that I subscribe to that will give me kind of the highlights of what is happening in the world. And they're probably on 2 different camps, but it's just so I can see where the propaganda is.
Why do you think it's important to stay aware?
Because we collectively have the power to move the country in one way or another. And if we don't know what's happening, then we will not have that collective power. If only some people are paying attention and some people are paying. And also, there's a lot of people that are unfortunately paying attention to the wrong stuff, and they're being misled and lied to. And that's a serious problem. And I see that with really smart people I respect and that are, highly educated. And I see them falling for stuff and not believing their lying eyes.
Well, and I think that we're also we're in a time now where think about what AI can manipulate and is doing, and an older generation who easily believes it. I mean, I'm not close, but my brothers will tell me that my dad can get duped, and they're like, we had to lie to him and tell him he's not even allowed to go to this website, that he could be arrested if he goes there.
Yeah, listen, the piece of advice, the easy way to explain it to anyone, and this goes for us, but especially, I told my parents this, I was like, look, you have to go into every social media situation, and really now media situation, thinking this is not real, and then prove that, and then work backwards to prove it is real if it's something you care about or whatever. But you have to understand that all these videos, because of the way how great it's gotten in Sora and how all the you have to think it's not real first and then work backwards. And
I think too, media specifically, it's interesting. We are having kind of internal look, y'all. I'm on a tourism driven magazine that's lifestyle, and it's really about how do we shine a spotlight on these incredible, cool places maybe you've never heard of in the Southeast, in the lower 12 states. And we are still trying to hold ourselves to a very high standard of the type of content we're creating. And I look at the media landscape and I'm just like, whoa, where are the regulations? Where is the accountability? And it is really difficult to know where to consume. and how to get the truth.
Yeah. And, whatever. I always tell people, look, there are charts that will tell you very openly and honestly, like where things fall right to left. And, you can kind of choose based on that. And mediabias.com, whatever, one of those.
But seriously, we should say what that is.
Yeah, I'll find out for sure what it is. But usually right in the middle is the Associated Press. And it's the only place I read my news. And it's the only, now, and then I'll hear something on NPR or whatever, and I'll kind of then go back and read it on the Associated Press. But news that you see on TV is entertainment, right? This is entertainment for-profit news. They're saying things to keep you locked on that channel, whether it's CNN or Fox or MS Now or Newsmax or whatever.
Everything is sponsored content.
Yes,
everything. And I think that that is something that we have to realize, especially from a social media standpoint, from a news, what you're consuming on TV or streaming, someone is paying.
And it's confirmation bias, right?
Yes.
So you're not holier than thou if you're watching CNN as opposed to Fox, and you're not holier than thou if you're watching Fox as opposed to MS Now. It is all confirmation bias, entertainment, for-profit news, all of it. And you just have to, if you know that going into it, whatever. Some people say, yeah, but I know that. I just like my lean on this. Well, but you're not really, then at the end of the day, getting, the full spectrum of the story.
And the chances are, truth these days is a very fluid thing.
I think the way it's talked about is fluid. I think truth is truth, and there's nothing you can do about that. Like the truth, there aren't alternative facts. But because of all the filters,
right? But because of all the filters that content is going through before it ever reaches you and your eyes and your ears, that's what I mean. Yeah. It's already rolled through so many biases before it gets to you.
Can you tell I'm passionate about this?
I love it.
Yeah, I do too.
Our other topics, you're like, what in God's name is this?
Hanging curtains, huh?
But you're like, not today, bitches. So what I'm hearing, I remember being at a conference, and it was a lot of leaders in the meditation world, and it was an incredible conference. And it was probably like 10 years ago. And one of the speakers was like, raise your hand if you watch the news, raise your hand if you avoid the news. And it almost sounded like he was going to give you a kudos for avoiding the news. Like, we're so chill, we don't need to do all that. And he was like, being aware of the news is an act of compassion, because, in the meditation world, in the world of Buddhism, like compassion, compassion, compassion. So I heard that as almost like legalistic. Like if I don't know everything all the time, I'm not being compassionate towards humanity. So, I was just hardcore, like absorbing everything. And by the way, I had like a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, like not really a time to know
not the time.
And it wasn't even, this is pre-COVID. Yeah. Shit hadn't even really hit the fan yet. And then I learned that I can be educated and aware and maintain regulation. I do sometimes get dysregulated, and my newest, when I know I'm like in kooky land, is I have texted my ex-husband, and we're really good friends, and I'm like, so what if we move to Denmark? And this is real. I'm like, I think we go to Denmark and let the kids have a cultural experience. You can be on European dating apps. I'm fine. And we will get out of here. And I remember when Obama was elected, who I was a huge fan of. I know that may come as a shock to some of you, and people are like, I'm leaving this country. And I'm like, then get the fuck out, And now I'm the one where I'm like, I feel really unsafe. I think this is all a bad idea here. And when I get into my Denmark fantasy, I have some French fantasy too, but when I'm there, I'm like, oh, I saw something that my eyeballs were not meant to see. And so to me, the regulation is, by the way, in grad school, they aren't teaching you like, okay, when your client sees horrible thing after horrible thing after horrible thing on the news, and you're seeing it too, this is the best skill for that. They don't tell you this stuff. Okay. So I'm pulling it out of my ass, like what to tell people. But what I have come to is choose wisely for you. Visual things, like I should not watch people being killed. I don't think we are meant to. If I read a story about it, I can be educated, but I don't think I was meant to see that. Like, I can't even watch, like, CSI.
I have a difficult time. Like, I cannot watch extreme violence. It's not good for me.
We weren't made to see it or deal with it. So I know how to receive my news. And then I like The Daily, which is like that 30-minute podcast, because I feel like it gives me a little brief. And then I can go, if I'm really interested in it, I can do more. And then the last thing, helplessness to me is one of the biggest themes. Like, you can't rescue all the dogs. You can't feed all the children. And your period products isn't directly attached to putting food on the table, but it's in alignment with it. So I think when we find something to do, it is a huge relief, even if it's not directly correlated. Like, I can't defund ICE.
Right. What I know to be 100% true is that in the last 10 years of what I would call serving alongside women who have a lot of purpose inside of them, if I see a woman who's spinning out, I'll show you a woman who hasn't figured out a way to utilize her gifts and to feel like she's purposefully moving through life, right? So if you feel like you're spinning out and the content you're consuming is stressing you out, like I know a person who is like, really loves to debate with people on the opposite side of the political and will like get on a soapbox about, let's call it, food insecurity. And then my question is always, so what are you doing about food insecurity? Don't use that as a platform if you're not doing something. And so my thing would be find a cause. And I always say, if you don't have money, you have time. If you don't have time, you typically have money. Like, get involved, get your hands dirty. And if you don't have time, make time. Go find a way to serve. Take your children with you. You know, I think that the sooner we can do that, we can still feel and have compassion, like your guru at the meditation. We can have compassion, but I do think that if you feel like you're spinning, then find a place to put that energy that feels really good, and like you are making an impact. Because again, I'm not going to end all of poverty. There's no way. We're not rescuing people from poverty, but we can do our part. What does that look like? And for me, I have the ways that I'm doing it, and I don't feel like I'm doing enough. I still want to figure out how do I do more, but I'm with you. Like, don't be on your soap dish. It was like the soapbox.
Soapbox.
Never correct me.
I like dish.
You asked.
Okay.
I think you asked.
I like soap dish. It's a question mark at the end. What is that saying? Anyways, I think that like if you find yourself talking about something and using it as a platform, but you're not giving your time or your money to it, I hate that. Don't do that.
I saw something the other day, and I'm trying to find it, and it was opinion media, but I thought it was an interesting opinion. It was, and this is like parallel to what we're talking about, there's this idea that Americans are loving less, and I was like, I gotta know more. How are we doing this? Because, you know, I think we're all rude twats, like truly, like, and I'll save that for a different episode, but I think we've become rude. But our culture has led us into such autonomy and independence because of like phones and media and like build your own life. And like everyone used to have, we've talked about sitting on the front porch. That's not a thing anymore. Everyone's having like 10 kids. I mean, I am grateful for the reduction in numbers there. But this was why we're so independent and why it's a problem. My short answer would be that you can build a culture around loving commitments, or you can build a culture around individual autonomy, but you can't do both. And I was like, that is so brilliant, because we're also opinionated and this is what I think and I'm right and you're wrong and fuck off. That is not connectedness. So to me, part of what you're saying is, how do I connect into this? How do I connect with other people in generosity, in love, in community. And I might not change the world, but I can change me.
Well, and if something's keeping you awake at night or making you want to go write your dissertation on Facebook or Instagram or fill in the blank, TikTok, Twitter, or whatever it's called, X,
TikTok, Twitter.
it doesn't matter. I think it's always an invitation to do something with that energy. And like, I would recommend to do something that will make a positive impact on people who are possibly really in need. That's one way to handle it. The other way to handle it is, and this is kind of the takeaway of this, is like, we shouldn't, and we are not advocating that we should put our head in the sand and not know anything. We want you to be educated. We want you to know what's going on in the world, but we also want you to regulate yourself. And you can't mom or dad or be a leader or show up and do your job well or be a good friend if you're constantly arguing about all of the things that you're consuming. And there are absolutely apps for that or mechanisms and gates that you can create for yourself if what you're consuming is putting you into this dysregulated state. What are they, Will?
Oh, gosh, yeah. So, well, I didn't, the good ones that I was hoping for didn't come up early in my search. So I don't know. I don't want to like mislead anyone with... Yeah, sorry, because you asked me as we were going.
Yeah, no, it's okay. But I have apps on my phone that limit my screen time, and keep me out of my social media in times when I need to be productive. And I would strongly recommend do your own research and pick one that you feel like works for you.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'll say do your own research can also go down that's the line you hear all the time.
Do your own research.
No,
I know.
Somebody says I did my own research, and which means they watch YouTube videos usually. Which is not great.
Yeah.
Not always great. Here's the big thing for me, too, and I want to bring this up. Generally speaking, we all kind of want the same stuff, right? We are being divided by people that have an agenda to divide us, right? Mm-hmm. For power, for political reason, for monetary gain. If I talk to someone who is on the other side of the political spectrum for me, and we don't talk about any of those things, we're going to get along. You know what I mean? Like, we generally, people, I know last episode, we talked a couple episodes ago about how weird everybody is, but we're all weird. We all want the same stuff at the end of the day. We're just being told that we're supposed to hate these other people and we're being divided by these silly little arguments that it really don't, mean much. People are voting on that, but then the actual ramifications are something huge, right? So that I would just say talk to your neighbors too. Mm-hmm. Just have like actual talks with your friends and neighbors.
Or like make meaningful real life connections and find the things you do connect on and connect on those.
Let's go analog,
Hey, Claire has only a home phone for her children to use. And I've loved watching
Gus is the main user. It kills me.
It's amazing.
You're the one with a home phone.
Yes. Huh. The one, literally the last one. But like truly, and you said front porch. I'm a front porch girl. I love to have it. I'm so sad that it's like not warm enough to be front porch. Hell,
I got the fireplace though. I still go out there.
I think I'm going to get one. I've just been trying to find the right mood. No, I'm just kidding.
Like last year when it snowed, I sat out there with that little fireplace in the snow the whole few days. Yeah.
I love it, but I will say I love that idea. Like, let's go analog, and that's a great way to get regulated.
And like, just be nice to your therapist. We're like really busy after the holidays, and everything's sad, and we're doing our best.
It is and I think like we've talked about this. I know we talked about it a lot last year. That winter is a time to be reflective. It is a time to like decide and set intentions. I think maybe you did a lot of stuff in January to like, I'm going to do 800 things and my life is going to be completely different. And chances are your life is probably not completely different by the time this episode is hitting you and sometime in February. But instead, like, what does it look like for you to reset your intentions, reset your filters on what type of content you're consuming, and take a look around at the people you're consuming too. If you want to make a list of something, make a list of some people that you feel like could make you better, sharpen you, that you admire, and ask them to coffee or ask them to come sit on your front porch if you have a nice heater like Will, or around your dining room table. Feed somebody that you invite your neighbor over, have a potluck. I don't know. Being in a new neighborhood, I'm like really inspired to be. That is one way that I want to practice generosity this year, is to cook as many dinners for people that I love or people I want to love in my house.
You know I'm anti-potluck, right?
I know. I realized when I said it, and honestly, I am too. I was just kidding about potluck. Come over and I will feed you. Yes.
So if you just Google media bias chart, here's the thing. It's made by this company called Ad Fontes, I think. Ad Fontes Media. But it is seemingly pretty trustworthy. Here's the problem. So it almost looks like an A-frame house, right? When you see that one, no, that's it. There's some that like are in column. Basically, people now are such jerks. Now there are fake ones of these that are out.
Oh, wow.
No.
Yes. So if you just put in media bias chart, yes, there is this actual one that has the actual research involved in it from Ad Fortes Media. But several others popped up. I was like, well, what's this one? And clicked on it. And of course, it has like all the crazies as like reliable and all the actual.
I mean, I don't know why I'm shocked.
I know, but it's so disappointing because I'd love to just tell people like, oh, just Google media bias chart and there it is.
No.
And yes, there it is, but there are other ones there too. But if it looks like an A-frame house,
That's the one.
and has InfoWars on the far right, you know you've got the right one.
Perfect.
There you go.
And we're still filming in my chemical peel era. I didn't mention it on the front end of this episode, but
I think you can tell.
I think it's pretty obvious, and I'm sorry about that.
But it'll be me soon because I too will be getting a subscription, and we're looking for a sponsorship actually from, what's the name of the company?
Smart Skin.
Thank you, Smart Skin and Homewood. We can't wait to be your number one advocates
I'm
with
gonna go log off and scratch my face off now.